All right, here we are once again. We were just laughing a little bit off camera. What we're in is the Servant Cigar Show, episode 3, part 3. And what I'd like to do at this point is bring your attention to our humidor. This particular humidor, and most of the humidors that I have in my shop here, are actually given to us and sold to us by Quality Imports. They are my primary humidor distributor, and I've had absolutely no complaints. What I'm going to do is show you, as you can see on the top, is a picture of a cigar leaf. A real cigar leaf is going to be anywhere from 12 inches to a full 21 inches that we use. Now, what I'm trying to explain here today is how to do a what you call seasoning a humidor on your own if you're stuck and you're not at one of the shops that actually do it for you. I know that Slippery Rock Cigars, one of our other sponsors up in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, he's more than happy to take care of these things. Now, what I usually do is, first of all, with the 2 trays, the reason why I do this is so that it'll take a slow process of about 7 days. I take it and I spritz it with distilled water, as you see here. Then I turn around, I spritz this, put this in, and then what I do is on the top one, I wipe it down. The reason why I wipe this down is that I don't want to have any buildup in any one particular area of the distilled water. Keep in mind, this is always done with distilled water. The purpose for distilled water is that it doesn't have the impurities and it won't contaminate any parts of the wood or, as you'll see later on, in your humidifier. It's not that it makes the cigar taste any better or any worse using regular water or not. It just screws up the process. Okay, once this is wiped down nice, the second key. Now, I know a lot of people, when they're buying and they're spending $50, $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 for a nice humidor, that they feel that they've already spent enough money. But for an extra $20, I recommend to everybody, in order to make sure that your cigars, that the whole purpose that you bought this whole contraption about, is to make sure that it tastes delicious for you, is to turn around and buy yourself a digital hygrometer. The purpose for that is that even the best of the analog hygrometers are inaccurate. Or, if they're accurate at one moment, they can go inaccurate without you ever knowing it. They don't give out alarms, they don't beep, they don't do anything. A good digital hygrometer should be anywhere from $18 to $25. You don't need to spend more than that. And what it does is it'll fit in the same spot as the old one used to fit in, and it will give you plus or minus a half of percentage point as far as your humidity, and it's so crucial. At the same time, it also tells you your temperature. Temperature affects humidity absorption, or release, if you will. That the release of the machine that you're going to use here, which would be a manual system of letting out moisture, can only work under certain conditions. When you get lower than 60 degrees or above 80, everything is confused. Your ideal setting is 70 degrees temperature and 70% humidity. That's how it sets off, and this will help you do that. I turn around and I do this, I close that down, obviously a lot closer and a lot quicker than I just did on film, but I will continue that same process almost 3 to 4 times a day, and I'll do that for 7 days. My process is, by the 5th day, I should not have to keep spraying. What I'm going to do, though, is opening up that humidor, and I'm going to check to see that it's at the proper 70 percentage. When I try to set it up, though, I usually try to go a little bit higher, and I try to set it up at 72, because when you install cigars into your humidor, they will absorb the moisture and drop the humidity. So while I'm setting it up, I set it up initially at 72. Once I've put in and introduced the cigars that will be in there, typically half of the capacity of the humidor, I will then get it eventually set at 70 and try to maintain that forever. And that's basically all that it takes. Although it's time consuming, it's simple how to have the ultimate pleasure of the cigar that you happen to buy from your favorite cigar shop. Now what we're going to do is get ready and talk about our first cigar. Our first cigar being the Punch Rare Corojo, 4.5 by 50. It's a $4.50 cigar, and Avery will start us off.
Well, first of all, we took a V cut, and that worked very well. The cap was good. The appearance, it had a beautiful appearance. I rated that a 5. Rated the cap a 5. It's a medium-bodied cigar, which to me fits everybody. And the ash was firm but mixed in color. I don't know if that really makes a difference, but I penalized it and gave it a 4. But there was a good burn throughout, and it had a nice, both wood and peppery type of smoke, and an excellent draw. The wrapper stayed intact. It was an enjoyable cigar, and I would have thought it was more expensive than that price you just mentioned. So I will give it a rare overall 5.
That's one of the first. One of the first. He's done it before. Great. And why don't you tell us a little bit what you thought there, John?
This was my my big surprise, because I found a lot of the same things that you found, Avery, in regards to the construction. The appearance was wonderful. The cigar, you're looking at a $4.50 cigar. I rated it straight through with almost all 5s, except my cap construction. I thought it was a little bit weak, but it was a very, the reason you rate cigars is because of the flavor of the cigar, and this was a very, very flavorful cigar, and it was one that would surprise me. And then when I found out it was $4.50, $5 for the cigar, it's a redo. It's a cigar you're going to want to re-smoke. I liked it. The very, very end was a little bit bitter, but I was right down to the nub. And other than that, I gave it a 5 as well. It was a very good surprise, and for $4.50, you can't beat it.
This time I'm the bad man. I enjoyed this cigar, and keep it in mind our rating system. Our rating system actually goes, a 5 means it's great, I'll buy it at any price. A 4 means it's a great cigar, but I want to buy it at a good value. A 3 is a good cigar, but it's got to be at a discounted price. A 2 is a cigar that I'll actually light up and I'll puff on as long as someone buys it for me. And a 1, I'm going to accept it as a gift only, and then I'm going to make sure when he's not looking that I re-gift it to someone else that I don't really care for.
That's how I got my last cigar.
So that's how our ratings. With that in mind, I actually rated the Punch a 4, this particular Punch. Reason being is it's well worth the price. If price was the only indicator. But there were a couple of minor flaws that I had with mine, and one of the flaws that I had is that mine got bitter at about halfway. And to me, that's a disappointment. Being a cigar manufacturer myself, I believe that I should be able to smoke mine down to the nub without any bitterness. And this, unfortunately, did not do that. But keep it in mind what a 4 is. It's a great cigar at the right price, and $4.50, let me tell you, is the right price. It's a buy from me, too. We're going to now cut down to our 4th and final segment of Serving Cigar Show.